Hey guys, hope you're well. Apologies for the lack of activity on the channel. I have a number of videos in the backlog, but it's a real struggle to find an editor who can actually understand the context of things that I'm talking about. And I end up doing a lot of editing myself, and I haven't had time to do it. I've just finished a road trip around Europe for 1 month, and prior to that, have been traveling all over Southeast Asia, Japan, and Kazakhstan, then back to London, and just going back and forward. I've been really busy, but working on some very interesting things. And the video I want to create today is there's just so much like talk about AI and how much it's impacting us, but not so much in terms of people giving like real world use cases that I see as being like extremely valuable. I know people kind of jumping onto N8N and AI agents, which on one hand like is interesting. It's good that people start using no code. I've been talking about no code on this channel for about 7 years now, so it's kind of nothing particularly new for any of you who have been following me for a while. I'm basically doing a ton of building at the moment, a ton of creating things, just because I found that that is where I'm happiest. I am happiest when I am building things and making things. But AI has been the biggest enabler of my creation, speeding up and enhancing what I'm able to build in terms of quality and the possibilities that I have, but also in terms of the speed. One really interesting thing that I think a lot of you will be interested in is a Reels farm that posts about 50,000 videos per day, or at the moment it's about 28,000, but in the coming days will be 50,000, but that needs its whole other entire video. So I'll save that for the next video. But today what we're going to go over is, first off, I'll show you the projects, and then I'll actually go a little bit more into my AI setup. So just two things that I think are really cool. This is a Reddit investment finder. In fact, I'll go over this one second because it's a bigger project, but this is a profitable AI investment finder. If many of you remember, I was talking about TikTok trend finders and so on, and this is just the evolution of that video that I think I published about 2 years ago. Here we're tracking IG creators. We're tracking just under 100,000 IG creators. It was about 120K, but I cleaned up this list. But this number actually increases every single day. Every 24 hours, we scrape 99,000 Instagram OF creators to check the reels they are posting. And then it is brought out here. That's actually a bug. It's more than that. The reason for that is that the database will only return 1,000. By the way, these projects are works in progress. These are things I'm having fun with, working on the side whenever I have some free time. This is all built using AI, a mixture of Claude and Cursor. All of the code is written by AI, and I'm simply prompting the AI in terms of what I want it to do. So this is a trend finder. Here you can see we have the account size virality. This is basically a calculation of if the account has 1,000 followers and it gets 150,000 views, then it gets a score of 150 because it's achieving 150 times more views than it has followers. Average views virality is the more interesting metric. This is the average views over their past 30 videos in comparison to the views on this video. So this video for this particular creator is performing 96.7 times better than the average of her last 30 videos. What we're trying to do here is detect complete outliers. What are the things on IG that are causing things to go super viral? I've built out a number of different things here. You have the posted date, the number of views it is getting per hour. We have like a built-in tagging system as well. You can also add in your own tags. For example, you have a bikini here, and you can also add in your own notes as well. You can open up the creator profile, and on the left-hand side, this is what I've been trying to build out, is where you basically make specific views. So I can add this creator, I mean, she looks Asian, so I could have a view, for example, and add this creator profile to Asian creators, and all of her content is going to automatically be put in there, as well as all of the other Asian creators that I've ever added. It makes a mood board, like an inspiration board, and I'll show you, like you can do filtering similar to Airtable. I'll show you all of that in a second. So this is scraping something about 3 million, I think it's more actually, but somewhere in that range of reels every single day when you factor it across all of the different creators. And these are the highest performing ones. based on a mixture of these two different metrics. It's filtered to only give you records from the past 14 days off the top of my head. You can come through here, and the thing that you'll notice is the highest performing reels generally involve a lot of bikinis. The ones at the top here, they're kind of super weird. It's going to be something a bit strange that is causing it to go extremely viral. Like there were some here the other week that were like 600x and 800x, and they were just kind of bizarre, and that is what causes them to go viral. But if we come down into the more viral but not crazy viral, you see a lot of bikinis and a lot of multiple women appearing in one video. I need to be careful what I show here, actually. Just realized I'm on YouTube. And you can also do things like I can save this video and it will automatically be in my saved reels, and if I want to go there again. And then you can also do things. So if I press this filters button, it brings like a drop down. And so I can do things like add in filters of average views virality is at least 5 to 10x, and condition, again, I really want to be careful of what I'm posting, and followers is less than, you see, like I said, it's a work in progress, and followers less than 10,000. This is to find videos that have gone viral from smaller accounts. The thumbnails are broken, but if I hover over them, they play automatically. This is the tool I've built for finding creators. What you can do is press the share button here, and it will make a shareable link, and it is copied to the clipboard. So now you can go and share that with a creator, for example, and tell her to copy all of the particular videos. You can sort the reels by most views and so on. This is just like a kind of fun side thing that I've been working on, just to kind of test what's possible to build with AI. I may potentially release this publicly if there's like interest, but as you can see, like there's still a few updates that need to be made, but all in all, I think it's a super interesting tool. I've been using this recently for researching the most viral captions and text overlays that are appearing on reels. And again, you can add in like different kind of tags and stuff here, and I just like to use this to find the most viral reels. And at the moment, it's multiple women and bikinis. This is all built with AI, and I'll go over how that was done in a second. And the next thing that I think is even more interesting, at least for me at the moment, is this. So this needs a little bit more explanation. I'll explain why I built this. About 6 months ago, I came across a subreddit called Race to 10 Million. This is a subreddit of people who are trying to get to $10 million, basically. And they are doing it through high growth investing, not meme coins and kind of meme stocks and things like that. There is a little bit of mention of that there, but they're kind of just a little bit more risky, but not being what I would consider to be stupid. It's not meme coins. It's what are perhaps higher risk, but extremely high growth stock plays that they can do. There are some very successful people in there. About 6 months ago, I came across this subreddit, and I took a couple of screenshots of various calls and various stock picks that they had. I completely forgot about it until about 3 weeks ago when I was in the mountains in Italy. I just had a bit of time on my hands and came across it again. I looked at all three of the stocks that they had picked, and they had all done 100%. One of them had done about 170%. And this is over 6 months. It's not even over the period of a full year. So I just thought, okay, this is quite interesting. Let me go and look into this a lot more. The reason I showed the Reels Trend Finder first is because essentially this is a Reddit trend finder to find what are the most common stock picks within this one particular subreddit. I may actually just share this if people are interested. I'll walk through the whole thing. But if for anyone who does want a quick way of doing this, it's not going to be in anywhere the amount of detail, but you can do something like in Perplexity. You can just say, Perplexity, sorry, it's GPT, but go into Perplexity, and if you have a pro account, I think it's like $20 per month, you can ask it to scrape a specific subreddit for you. So you can tell it, go and scrape this subreddit, and it will try and find what are the most commonly spoken about stocks. I've spent about 2 days building this out, whereas Perplexity would take you about 2 minutes. Okay, so let's go into this. On the top left-hand side, this will walk you through some of the stuff that I'm doing with Airtable, with AI. I also built this out because Airtable released some new features that I wanted to use. Over here, we have 7,000 comments. In total, we have 20,000 comments, right? These are all comments from that specific subreddit. I've extracted the entire subreddit for the past 2 years, because that is as far back as I could go with the data. Some of them go back to 2023, but mostly the data is from 2024, from basically 2 years, or about a year and a half worth of data. What I have built out is we check what stocks are they talking about, which makes a relation to this table that I'll go through in a minute. This is the price of the stock at the time of the comment. I'll go over more in a second. You'll notice I haven't done it for every stock because I'm not interested in every stock here. This is just automated. It will go for any stocks that make it past my initial filters. I will go and check the time, the price at the time that this comment was made and how that price has evolved over time. You will see the mention count. This is how many stocks he talks about. So here, this guy in one comment has mentioned 3 different stocks. So the number will be 3. Comment length is how many characters are in the comments. I've got a load of other fields here. What are some things that you might find interesting? Created time, that is the time that the comment was made. I was doing a lot more filtering around with AI, but I've actually kind of lowered the amount that I was doing, as I just realized it was kind of over analysis and it wasn't really necessary. But yeah, what's some stuff? So you've got things like it will analyze is it a bullish comment? Is it a bearish comment? Is it neutral? Score means number of upvotes. So Reddit is so interesting because of all the data they give us. It's perfect for analysis. And this we can basically treat as like, how does the community as a whole agree with this comment? And just before I keep rambling on, this is really interesting data because I've back tested a few different strategies. These are the top 20 most upvoted stocks from 2024. I've analyzed the historical data from 2023 till 2024. These were the stock picks. I analyzed if we started investing in these at the start of 2025, if we had invested in all of these picks and done a daily or a weekly investment. So I'm back testing the different strategies. This is the one that I ran through. These are just clones, so we can ignore them. But the return to date over an 8-month period would be 36%. This is using a dynamic DCA strategy, which tracks the 50-day moving average. It looks back over the average price of this stock over the past 50 days. If it dips below the moving average by 5%, 10%, 20%, it can invest more and more. Otherwise, it splits this amount. So it would be a daily investment of $1,000. It splits it across 20 different stocks. So it's $50 per share that would be invested daily. But if they fall below the moving average, if they're deemed to be undervalued, then it would dynamically increase the amount that gets invested. So it would have made 252 trades, the total amount invested, and the current value based off of yesterday's data, the total return would be $117,000. I've built a fully automated bot. This isn't real figures, by the way. I've only just built this. This is, if I had ran this 6 months ago, it's based off the historical data from the previous year. These are the top picks. And if we had started investing in the top picks from last year, but we started it this year in 2025, that is what our return would have been so far up until August of this year. So it does work from what I've seen. And that is the most simple example. A couple of different things that I'm tracking that I think are quite interesting are, so this is the number of unique mentions over the past 90 days. And this is interesting, but it's also expected that NVIDIA is a huge company. Of course, it's going to be mentioned a huge amount more. This tracks the velocity. Is it growing in the amount it's mentioned, or is it going down? Actually, NVIDIA is going down. If this number is above 0.5, it means velocity is increasing. But actually, these are being spoken about less. There's less overall comments compared to what it was historically. Nonetheless, NVIDIA is still being spoken about a lot. I'll also go through an interface with you in a minute. One thing I think is quite interesting is to divide 6 months comments by market cap. Basically, NVIDIA is a multi-trillion-dollar company. If 652 people are speaking about a huge company, it's not quite as interesting as if we have 252 people speaking about a much smaller company, such as STS, the $20 billion company, and it's almost comparable with MSTR and Tesla far, far bigger if you look at the market cap. This has a completely disproportionate number of people speaking about this particular stock. It's had a massive rally already. I'll go more into this in just a second, but this is really interesting, tracking the velocity of what is the most spoken about thing over the past 90 days, and then working out how does it compare on market cap compared to how much it's being spoken about. Smaller companies are being spoken about a lot, I think make really interesting trading opportunities. Reddit as well, really interesting opportunity as well. I'll come back over here into stocks because the other thing that I have is the start date. Have I deleted these fields? Sorry, I haven't deleted them. So this is the first time that the stock was ever spoken about. My data only goes back to February 28, 2020. That's why you won't see much of a mention before then. So this is when it was first spoken about, and this is the most recent time it was spoken about. I'll plot this, and just two other things before I go into the interface, which is where the most interesting data is. I also have the commenters and all of the comments and the stocks that they're talking about. So in comments, it has a relation to who actually left this comment, and then we can sort them by karma. And you could do some type of giving more trust or weight to people who have more karma, who would be considered highly respected. So I think that is an interesting way to do things. And then in stocks as well, these are stocks that are consistently being spoken about. So they're not necessarily going through spikes. If they've gone through a spike, it generally means the price has gone up and it's being spoken about more. So what you want to do is try and find them pre to the price increasing, which generally is a bit of like a flat line. They have activity, but it's not going like absolutely crazy. There's people talking about it, there's people interested, but it's not a massive spike going off. And these are all of these like picks here. And again, you can go through and do more analysis on them. These are the ones that are starting to pick up and being spoken about more than others. And what you'll find here is this Alti is paying 130% yield per year. I think that it's newly released, which is why it's been spoken about quite a lot. But they're the kind of, these are like the hottest things that are being spoken about at the moment. You can filter by revenue, PE ratio, whatever you want. All of the information is synced here. Using the Alpaca API, you can do automated trading. My goal is to set up an AI agent who has access to all of this data, give it $50,000 or $10,000, probably start it off in a virtual fake money trading account, which you can do to make sure that it doesn't waste everything and actually executes everything properly. That is kind of what I built here. This is a simulation run, so it wasn't done live, but this is using the official Alpaca API. You see here, it's a backtest of dynamic DCA. Because the price dipped below 5.9%, it applied a 1.5x multiplier. Because the price was normal, it didn't multiply the amount it invested at all. This is what I mean by dynamic DCA. It tracks the price every day, and if it is below like this, the price of Robinhood fell by 26% on that particular day, so it would have increased the investment by 4x. And again, if we just check in 6 months, it's up 109%. Year to date, which is up 195%. This is one of the high level picks they had chosen. So you can also just filter by most upvoted 2024, and you can also filter by most upvoted 2025. And yeah, like I just think this is such interesting data. These are all AI fields doing like AI analysis, so it will kind of check, is this a high risk, is it a long-term hold? These are like my personal notes, tracking number of unique commenters. But then anyway, I'll take you into interfaces as well. This is something I was working on today. And so for the company that I mentioned, STS, I'll just walk you through this dashboard. Here I can make my own notes. Let me just publish it so it's easier for you to see. Here I can click through and review in more detail any of the companies that I've been like analyzing and go and check. But as an example, like ASTS, this is a roll up of all the information I showed you brought into one place. So this is the history of mentions every single week. Coming back till mid 2024 is the first tracking that I have of this particular stock. This is the share price. The purple dots, it started off at around $4 and it's now up about 57. It was up at 60. On the right hand side, you can see the range, but that only applies to the purple dots, okay? So the purple dots is the price. And for the bars that you see here, this is the number of the comment counts, the number of time this stock was mentioned in comments week over week. They are tracking two different things. So just to make sure that you've differentiated that. So purple dots are price only and the bars are related to comments. This is a correlation of how much impact or tracking the activity. Like here you can see the activity is tracking quite well. More people start talking about the stock, but here there's a massive spike in activity, but the stock price is steady around this level. And so to get more interesting, I can click into this. It's going to tell me every single, like this guy I hate. That's why it's gone up, because he just spams a lot of stuff. I need to filter him out of my system. I think he's actually the Reddit subreddit owner or a moderator, but he just spams promotion of different stocks and it messes up my system. We can click into any week and see what was the discussion. Were people bullish? Was it bearish? Whatever we want of that particular time period. The reason the purple thing isn't there is because the API I'm using can only give you data from 2 weeks ago. So it's not that, it's just being cheap and using a free API. And yeah, you can add in more fields as well. You can even open links to the comments if you want to go and check the full conversation history. I've got all of the links saved, so that could also be set up quite easily. And then this is the exact same thing, but it's done on a monthly basis. It kind of depends on the size of the company in terms of how the stock reacts. But again, this is tracking the monthly mention. So here it was spoken about 3 times, 2 times, 5 times, 38 times, and the stock price coming up at $38. And here still being spoken about, here a lot more. And then the price kind of just rallies up to where it is now at about $60. And you can see the comments here are all super bullish, even though this is now a very expensive company. They're in satellite mobile, by the way, for anyone who is interested. These I haven't done all my analysis on yet. And then, and here is like the upvote score as well. You can also check what are the most upvoted comments and so on. This is all built with AI. I'll walk you through that a little bit more now. So just whilst I have this up here, anyone who can't read code, don't be scared off by this interface. I know it looks like a completely different language. I mean, it is a completely different language, but I'm just going to try to walk you through it in as simple terms as possible and then go through like some of the more advanced stuff as well. This is an app named Cursor, and I've been using this for more than 6 months now, but I've actually moved to something else. For beginners, this is a fantastic app to use. On the right-hand side here, we've got GPT-5 that has just been released today that I've been playing around with. Normally, I work from Claude 4 Opus, and they've now released Claude 4.1, but that is my favorite model. But GPT-5 is also really, in fact, probably better. I've just been playing around with it this morning. And I can tell it anything that I want. Go and build me a Telegram bot that integrates with 11 labs. Anything that I send to the Telegram bot will get turned into an automated voice message, for an example. The reason that example popped into my head is because I was helping a friend build something like that. I can just say, build this in Python, and then I need instructions step by step on how to get running and deploy it. That dictation tool is called Whisperflow, and I've been finding it pretty cool working with this. When this agent stops working, it's actually going to make a notification for me. He's going to say out loud, task completed. You can see the bot is now planning everything out. And I've done this in a different project, so I don't want it to mess up my project. We could make a new, and I'll just let this kind of run in the background for us. Build me a Telegram bot that integrates with 11 labs, and anything that I send to the Telegram bot gets turned into an automatic voice note and returned to me. Okay, so that is going to work on that in the background. It's going to make a load of new files. You'll see here we're in an empty project. I can approve and deny any changes that I want. So it's searching and looking for. So that is Cursor, and you can build really interesting things. I've been working from this a lot. It's quite powerful. My preferred models are Claude 4.1 Opus or this. For anyone non-technical, the reason this is so good is because then once it's written all the code, I can just write it a message, say, can you explain line by line each piece of code? And it will do it. Now I'm going to introduce you to my new best friend, and the thing that I've been working with so much and has built the entire Reddit trend finder. And it's more technical. It's kind of more, I would say, like a developer tool, whereas this is much more commercial. It's kind of like a step up from no code like NA10 or anything like that. So If any of you are getting tired with like NAM or find it a little bit restrictive, this is going to be the step up for you. You can also do AI agents in here far quicker than you can build in N8M. All you need to do is instruct on what you want it to do, and it will build everything for you, and you just sit and watch it happen. So I will be working on 3 different coding projects at the same time, giving different instructions to the code base. So anyway, the next tool I'm going to introduce you to, and for me, like the kind of mind-blowing one, is called Claude. Proceed with hooks enabled. The first thing that, I mean, for anyone, I don't want to scare people off, but here you can build what are called agents. And so agents you can think of as like employees of the main agent. So you have an employee manager who you communicate with, and it will then go and delegate tasks that can be worked on in parallel by these different sub-agents that all have their different area of expertise. So I can click in here into manage agents, and you can see I've got 39 different agents, kind of different AI employees for various different things, for just things that I'm working on. And I can communicate, like, I want to build this project. The main agent that I communicate with, it will break it down into subtasks and little steps, and it will then be able to delegate those to different agents to go and complete and work on them. And again, it happens simultaneously. And then you can build some of the most useful ones, a testing agent, a deployment agent. So whenever the AI code says it's finished building something, I then have a testing agent that will run the code, make sure it works correctly. If it doesn't work correctly, it will log all of the bugs and issues and send it back to the main agent, who will then pass that back to the development agent to fix it. And then when he says it's fixed, it goes back to the testing agent who verifies it's done. If it's done, it will return to me. And I've got an audio notification that says task completed, which I hear a lot these days, or it will just kind of keep going until it fixes itself. And within this testing agent, it has access to the browser. So if you're building a website, it can go onto a page and navigate through a page with AI, click a specific button, take screenshots and read the screenshots, passing it back to the main agent to verify that the changes were made. It can see the console. It's insane. It's really, really good. Another thing that we can do as well is something called MCP protocol. So any of you who aren't familiar with MCP, basically you can give AI access to Airtable. This is my favorite one to work with. I haven't set it up on this.
Job complete.
Perhaps you heard that. So that is the bot saying the job is complete. I have like 3 different windows open. And instead of me needing to kind of keep my eye on all of them, whenever I hear that voiceover notification, I'll go back and continue working on it. Let's go into here. You can also give cursor access to this tool. It starts at $20 per month, but I'm on the $200 per month plan, which is the highest plan. Before, I was spending a lot more to use it through Claude because I was reaching the limits, and then you kind of have to pay per usage. But if you just pay the subscription directly to Claude, it's far cheaper. I'm noticing now that GPT is actually quite a bit faster than Claude today anyway. Right. He says, yes, I have access. So this AI, without me needing to open Airtable or do everything, it's its own agent. It has access to Airtable. It can list and browse my bases. Of course, through API permissions, I can choose like what do I give access to and so on. But it can read and search for things. So if it's building something, it can at the same time go and look up that particular table and find what is the structure of the table, what are all of the different field names in there, so that it can write, so it understands the context of everything and can write the code. I can say, can you make a new text field called Nathan and get the schema structure of the entire database? And so it will list all bases, and then it will go through and find things. The other thing, I can't open it on this project, so I can't remember what I've written in there. In fact, I think, no, this is a safe project. So in here, this is Claude.md, and basically it will, every time before it goes and starts a task, this is like its instruction manual that it will always read over before it goes to do anything. So if you want it to follow certain rules, for example, what I mentioned to you about the testing thing, you can just write in here, like before telling me that a task is done, run our testing agent in order to make sure that everything is working correctly. So you can see it's just made a new field in Airtable and it can now work with that. I'm looking to set up some new AI agents. Can you let me know which agents you feel would be most valuable to you? We're going to have an AI set up its own AI agents and employees that it feels are most valuable for this project. This works best once you've been working on the project for like an hour or two and you've built out some structure so that it understands what it actually needs to do. These would help the most. So it's saying, I would like a Reddit data analyst, an Airtable automation specialist, a trading strategy optimizer, a data pipeline architect, a financial data specialist, and a Reddit scraping optimizer. I got this idea from someone else on YouTube. I forget his name though, but I will put him in the description. Like, really interesting engineer who's got a load of different setups with Claude that I actually took this from. He's making videos about it, so he's sharing it for free, but he inspired me on this setup. So now we can have our main AI agent set up all of these different employees. Please set up all of these agents using the agent manager. For those of you that aren't technical and are sticking through this, I can't stress this enough. I feel this is like the pivotal change in, I don't know, just in how code is written, in how the world is working. Like, this is really at the forefront of where things are happening. We are in a golden age of building things. So you can see here, like the agent manager. I'll go and create 6 specialized agents for this project. You can do agents on a global level, so they're available in all of your projects, or you can have project specific agents as well. I cannot encourage you enough to spend time on these tools. They are game changers and like superpowers in terms of running a business. I've got 39 different agents on this project. Sorry, no, that's on an Instagram project. But now we've just set up 6 more specialists. But on another tool, I have a load of other agents as well. It's like having employees that are just working for you, and the output you can achieve from this is absolutely insane. One other tool that I will show you as well that I built out, this is my productive menu bar. So here it's an always visible thing. You start a task and it starts a timer for the task. If you want to increase the time, you just click here and it will increase it. If you've done the task, you press the checkbox. This is built off of Notion, by the way. Then it will update Notion. If you haven't finished it, you just close it. If something pops into your mind about a new task that you need to work on, you just press here, finish posting this video today. It will now add that as a task. It's gone orange around the border. Now it's green. It means it was added successfully. You can also do it from here as well. Start publishing videos again. And that has just been added as a task into Notion. And I've also built out a mobile app. As you can see, I've been building a lot of stuff. We can go back into our Telegram. Look, it's built our Telegram bot. This is the project we just started a minute ago. And I can now just say, I can copy this. I think it's add to chat. I can just say, can you explain this code for me? What does it actually do? And then you can ask things like, here it is, add to chat. I don't normally work this way. I just work from the chat box. But for anyone new to code, you can go through line by line, copy this, add to chat. What does this code do? Explain to me step by step what it does. It's like paying $20 to have a mid to senior level developer, I think like senior developer, sitting next to you that has just scraped the whole of the internet. Sometimes you need a bit of back and forth with it, depending on what you're building, but it is insanely good. It's unbelievable. When I was first learning programming, it was a lot of searching on Google, on Stack Overflow, how to fix certain problems. And now it just doesn't exist anymore. You just ask all of the questions that you want here and it will kind of output anything that you need. I truly believe that this is one of the best ways that you can invest time, one of the best skills to have in the modern day. It's getting better, and this is no over exaggeration. It is getting insanely better almost every single week. Opus 4.1 was just released the other day. Opus 4 was already a fantastic model, the smartest programming model in the world. And then they just released GPT-5 yesterday. I think it's actually meant to be a smarter programming model than Opus, but I still prefer to work through Opuses. And because what is happening is these different companies are in competition with each other. Anthropic is in competition with OpenAI, who's in competition with Facebook. They're all kind of like fighting each other on who is going to dominate in the AI race. As a consumer, you are put in a really good position when you have these tech giants putting so much effort into who can produce the best possible product. They're even giving to you at massively discounted prices. I think it was Gemini who are actually making a massive loss because they're giving you a huge number of free tokens to get you to use their tool over someone else's. So in order to gain market share, these companies are making huge losses to acquire customers. We are actually the benefactors of all of this. There's a few other things in the background that I've been working on that I don't really want to share publicly at the moment, but I think the Reddit stuff is super interesting. To be honest, I haven't been that happy with the updates coming out of Airtable recently. But one good thing is a load of new fields. If the AI here says it needs a load of new fields, you can just paste it in and say, you can do formula fields, all of my more complex formulas that are down here. Not even complex, but just a bit annoying and tedious to set up. These are all set up by me copying from Claude AI over into here and saying, I need you to set up all of these formulas for me to analyze the data. Yeah, they are the main updates for me. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of travel, managing a pretty large farm. I'll be turning 30 next week on the 16th of August. I may do another video on that because I've lived quite an interesting life, to say the least, quite unexpected in terms of how everything ended up going for me, particularly given the path I was on in my younger years up until about 17 to 18. So yeah, maybe just to reflect back on that. I know that a lot of people feel quite bad when they turn 30, but I don't know, in many ways, I'm really quite happy with what I have achieved with my life up until now. I also don't really consider my life to have started until I was about 22, which is when, because I was still living with my parents in a 9-to-5 job in recruitment in an office building where the windows didn't open and it was all just depressing. I decided to kind of build this life for myself because I just wasn't happy with the life that I had. I didn't have any money to move out of my parents' house. So it was only around age 22. Was it 22? I'll have to get my dates right. But it was about 7 years ago. Everything kind of changed very quickly where I started to make my first money and get my first taste of freedom. If you consider what I have accomplished in 7 years, it's interesting to see what the future holds. Particularly now we have so much leverage given these tools. Thank you so much for watching. I cannot encourage you enough to go and play around with these tools. It is an absolute game changer in terms of what is possible for yourself because you saw the productivity tools. I've also built a productivity app for myself that I've been wanting to build for a long time because no one's solving the problems that I want to be solved. So now you can just instruct GPT and have it solve those problems for you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.